Florida on fire. Flames ripped through an entire Polk County neighborhood, forcing hundreds out of their homes overnight. Good Saturday morning to you, everyone. I'm John Rogers.
I'm Meredith Sensulo. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. That fire continues to burn in Polk County's Indian Lake estates, and there's grim news for people living in that area. Hundreds of acres have been burned, a mandatory evacuation put in place overnight, and multiple homes have already been lost. This morning, the flames are still burning. So let's get right out to News Channel 8's Mark Douglas. He's in Indian Lakes Estates. We're expecting an update right now on the situation. Mark?
Well, good morning to you, John. As you said, the fire burning out of control as of last night. 800 homes evacuated here in Indian Lake Estates. Some of those people at the entrance this morning hoping to get back in soon. A lot of smoke in the air, a little bit of fog, mostly smoke. And right now, Kevin Wattler from the Polk County Fire Rescue is about to brief us. So why don't we not delay that any longer? We'll put the mic up here and let Kevin tell us what's going on.
So overnight, it was fairly quiet for our crews. We didn't have to respond to any residential structures that were in danger of being burnt by fire. Usually that is something that occurs overnight. As it's nighttime, there's not a very high chance for fire to start spreading. However, our main concern is when the day starts to heat up, sometime around 10, 11 o'clock, it will start to get warmer. The conditions still remain dangerously dry, so it will increase the chance of the fire starting back up and causing issues. That is one of the reasons why the mandatory evacuation order has not been lifted. In addition to that, we also have our firefighting vehicles that are going to be in and out of the area, especially when things start to pick back up. And we can't have fire vehicles and residents back and forth on the roads. It makes it unsafe for the residents, and it also is unsafe for the crews. So just to take you back and kind of highlight what went on from when we got the call from the 911 dispatcher. That call came in right at 4:30 yesterday for a large outside fire. Within minutes, our crews was on scene and started to aggressively attack this fire. However, with the dry conditions and the wind, it started to spread rapidly. And so we do have approximately 600 acres on fire. That was what the Florida Forest Service determined is the approximate size. That number is likely to be adjusted as we continue to take a look at the size of this incident. Now, so the mandatory evacuation order remains in place, and we expect at noon a decision will be made whether to continue the evacuation order or to lift it. So if you're thinking you're going to go back home this morning, at this time, you're not going to be allowed back at your homes. We do have a Red Cross shelter that is open at the First Presbyterian Church in Lake Wales if you need somewhere to stay. I know not a lot of people took up that opportunity. I believe the latest count, we had 9 people, which included 8 adults and 1 child, who decided to take shelter at that First Presbyterian Church. Again, the Red Cross is providing that and providing food for people who decide to take up on that shelter. So just to give you a little idea of the size of Indian Lake Estates, there are 8,000 lots here. However, not 8,000 homes. There are 800 homes here in the Indian Lake Estates area. And again, the evacuation is just for this area. The river ranch is not affected during this fire event, and that's because the wind is going in a different direction than it did the last time there was a fire here. So we had approximately 100 firefighting vehicles here and a couple hundred firefighters here when things were not going so well yesterday. So we have a lot of personnel. We have a lot of support from our neighboring cities, and the support has been very, very welcoming, and we really appreciate all of the help from the cities, and even as far as Hillsborough County sending one of their larger tankers to provide water, because as you know, when you get further into the Indian Lake Estates area, water, there are no fire hydrants, so we have to shuttle water back and forth to the crews that are working to extinguish the fire. So again, we really appreciate the mutual aid support that we have received from law enforcement and other firefighting agencies. So the fire is considered a suspicious fire and it's under investigation. The Florida Forest Service has an agriculture law enforcement agency that is leading that investigation. So state officers are looking into whether who's potentially setting these fires. You're asked to call 1-800 324-5869 for information that could assist law enforcement with their investigation. And at this time, I'll turn it over to my colleague at the Florida Highway Patrol to talk about the roads, whether roads are closed or not.
Good morning. My name is Sergeant Jeffrey Komorowski. I'm the district supervisor here in Polk County. Currently, the smoke is not affecting the roadways. We're currently monitoring County Road 630, State Road 60. We have troopers constantly patrolling these areas. Right now, the roadways are not shut down, but we are asking the public to use caution in this area.
Question for you, Kevin. Do you have an exact count of how many homes have been damaged, if any? Is it just sheds, or have homes actually burned in this fire?
At this stage, we do not think any residential structures were damaged. I know we had some conflicting reports at first. They thought something was a residential structure when it was not. So we lost daylight, or we lost light, it got dark, and so we weren't able to do a damage assessment. That will be carried out today, and later on, by this afternoon, we should have a little bit of a better idea of what was actually damaged. We know for sure that the workshop at the River Ranch, their maintenance shed, that was one thing that did burn to the ground, and we know that there was a shed in someone's backyard that definitely burnt to the ground. Some vehicles are burnt, some boats are burnt, so we do have some property damage. In terms of any residential structures at this time, we don't have any concrete proof, or we don't believe any residential structures burnt in this incident.
And we understand there was an orange glow in the sky during the nighttime hours. Any idea how much burning is going on now, whether the fires are burning out of control or whether they have gone out?
Well, there is still active fire. And again, so that orange glow that you saw would have been the active fire. The fire, we don't have an estimate on the containment at this stage. The Florida Forest Service, they're the leading agency on the wildfire side of it. They're going to be attacking that throughout today once their crews get here. We did scale back our operations overnight, again, because it got quiet. That's a usual thing. And also to get our firefighters rest. The firefighters have been working extremely hard, and so they need their rest so they could come back out here and come filled of energy for when things start to heat back up.
And I understand that investigators believe this is suspicious, as you said. Can you give us any idea of what makes this a suspicious fire and a possible arson fire?
I'm not able to comment on the investigation part of it. That would be a law enforcement type question, and with any active investigations, it's something that they have to be very careful about. The thing that we really need is if anyone saw anything suspicious, if they think they may have any information that could help out law enforcement, call that 1-800 number so it could be investigated, so they could take care of the individual if there's an individual behind setting these fires.
Thank you so much.
Kevin, is there a message you'd like to give out to
So that
people who might have started this
that
fire?
message from Kevin from the Polk County Fire Rescue, as you hear, as far as they know, there were conflicting reports earlier, but as far as they know now, no homes actually burned inside Indian Lake Estates. That's the really good news. The more troubling news, of course, for residents who've been evacuated here from those 800 homes inside this area is they cannot get back in yet. They will not be able to get back in for some time, possibly midday. They may reassess that and let them back in. But right now, if you do live here, you've had to evacuate, don't rush back this morning because there's no getting back in now. As you may have indicated, heard us indicate, there's a lot of smoke here. The smell of burning is heavy in the air. There's no indication the fires have burned out, certainly. They have taken a pause in their firefighting efforts through the night, as Kevin just said, to rest and to gather their strength again so they can go after this. And behind all of this, the rather dark prospect that this was not a natural fire, an accidental fire, that perhaps there may be one or more people actually starting fires here. There's a $5,000 reward out there. You heard him put out the phone number. So that is making a lot of people anxious at this point and making a lot of people angry. And Sheriff Grady Judd is one of those people, and last night vowed to put whoever that is in jail if in fact it does turn out to be an arson case. But right now, we're waiting to hear more. As daylight is now coming upon us, they'll get back in there and give us a better scope of what they're looking at today after taking a breather overnight from this terrible fire at Indian Lake Estates. Back to you guys.
Thanks a lot, Mark, and we'll be keeping in touch with you throughout the day. And I guess the number to point out again is 1-800-324-5869. That's the number if you have any information on who potentially could have started this fire.
Right, $5,000 reward at this point for tips that may lead to somebody who could have been involved in this if, in fact, this was arson. We certainly hope it's not, but we will keep you posted on that as well.